agenda this evening.
Matt, I don't really have an amendment other than Tim Cook, according to the city checklist, does not have an E at the end of his name. I just want to make sure that that error doesn't move into the minutes as well.
Very good. Thank you, Mel. Brittany, would you make a note of that, please? Take that as yes. Thank you, Britt. Appreciate it. Any visitors joining us this evening? It's great to see 37 participants to a regularly scheduled council meeting. So thank you for everyone for joining us. Are there any visitors that have any business before the council that is not otherwise on the agenda? Okay, moving along then. Thank you. I would ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes and the warrants, please.
Matt, there's no minutes for this time, just the warrants.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. I would ask for a motion regarding the warrants then.
So moved.
Dickie, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
So Matt, one of the things I noticed was that the warrants appeared to be the period from February 23rd until either today. And because whoever did the report entered February 23rd, it captured all of the bills that were approved at the last meeting. So I don't think we need to approve previously approved bills again. So before that gets sent out for signature, I would just suggest that all of those bills that were done and that were approved at the last meeting are removed from this set of warrants so they aren't doubled up.
Terrific. Thank you for catching that as well, Mel. Prior to circulating the warrants for signature of the council, we will have that document edited. Thank you.
How we're going to remember what we've all been through, and also those who didn't make it.
Well, what an awful year it's been, totally awful.
I'm sorry, Ron, what was that?
Just silencing people that haven't silenced themselves. So.
Okay, thank you. Are there any citizens' comments on issues not otherwise reflected on the agenda for this evening?
So I just think we need to vote on the warrants on that motion, Matt, that's all.
I apologize, Mel, thank you. I wasn't sure if we wanted to have that document edited prior to a vote, which wouldn't be able to take place until our next meeting. What are your thoughts there?
Well, we need to approve them so those checks can go out in the mail. So I'm just suggesting that document be, I'm fine with everything on the warrants once anything that's dated February 23rd and prior gets removed. That's all.
Okay, great. Thank you. So Dickie had moved to approve the warrant. Who had the second on that, please?
Added.
Ian did.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion other than getting that document edited? Okay, all those in favor of approving the warrants after editing, please signify aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you very much. That passes. Thank you. Any citizens' comments regarding any issues that are not otherwise on the agenda this evening? Again, Ron, I'm not sure if that's somebody speaking from our citizens.
I don't think so, Matt. I think that was somebody just wasn't muted.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to business. And we'd like to start by thanking Lynn Donnelly and Bill Bertrand for their many years of service to the council. I'm hopeful that you'll find a way to continue to support our community in the future. You both bring great value and experience to our city, and I'm hoping that we can continue to count on your support in the future. As a token of appreciation, Ron and Brittany have chosen a gift for you. Ron, can you pull that up?
Yeah. So, oh dear. What we have for both you, Lowell, and Lynn, doggone it, I'm just going to have to describe it. It is a, oh, actually, you know what? Right behind me, we have a map of the city of Vergennes that we want to present to you, not like this, but I was going to show you a digital copy, but this is our virtual way of saying thank you to you both. We thought it'd be a nice acknowledgement. It's from 1890. It's a copy of the lithograph that was done by the Burley Lithograph Company back in 1890. And so as our thank you to you for all you've done for us and for the city, we extend this to you virtually, and a real live one will be coming your way. So.
Thank you very much. And I want to wish Matt and all of the new council the best of luck. I just want to say one thing about Lowell. When I came on the board, he was already there, and he was a wonderful asset to the council. And as you get, sometimes there's disagreements, and he was always the one that could always bring everyone together and say a compromise. And you're all going to miss that little part of him. He was a wonderful addition to the council, and I wish him the best. And thank you, everybody who took the time to write my name in. But Matt is going to be a great mayor, and we'll move on from here, and looking forward to a new city.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn and Lowell. I'd like to congratulate Mel and Ian on their re-elections. I know each of you personally and have enjoyed working with you in the past, and I'm sure I will enjoy working with you again in the future. Congratulations and welcome to Sue Rakowski. I see Sue occasionally at the Glutton for Punishment Club. So we'll see you around the club, Sue, but thank you. And we look forward to you bringing your management experience and leadership experience to the council as well. Jill, Dickie, and David, I'm continually appreciative of your continued service. I look forward to serving with each of you as well. So good evening, and I welcome our new council and our visitors that are joining us virtually this evening. I have a few comments that I'd like to share prior to getting into the balance of the meeting. First, I am deeply thankful and honored to be the mayor of Vergennes. I often reflect on Vermont's slogan being freedom and unity, and will be holding myself to task to ensure we as a council do our best to personify those values. Vergennes is stronger together. I'm greatly appreciative of this group of aldermen and alderwomen and your choices to be on this council. Now more than ever, our collective experience and leadership are needed to bring the city forward after many months of divisive rhetoric, partisan politics, and the sowing of distrust about our city, its elected officials, and the management of the same. I ask each of you to work with me in restoring our faith that our citizens have placed in us. I have frequently said of my previous time on the council how much I appreciated the fact that even though we did not always agree on issues, we always found a way to come to a consensus. I think that's what Lynn was referencing earlier in a way. To my memory, this was always done civilly and with the best interest of Vergennes placed at the forefront. I ask each of you to work together in this manner going forward. Lastly, I ask for patience and support from the voters who have elected us. Although there is not rampant corruption flowing through our city, we absolutely have an opportunity to be better. Our new manager, Ron, has jumped in headfirst and is working systematically to stabilize city administration while learning his new role, employees, and community members. We are making progress on the issues related to the audit, and I expect Ron to be bringing that process to a conclusion at his earliest ability. So I thank you all in advance. I look forward to working with each of you. Please do not hesitate to reach out to myself, members of the council, or Manager Redmond with any questions or comments. And I thank you for that. I'd like to move on to the balance of the agenda, which starts on item 5C, resolution of support for Vermont National Guard deployment. Alderman Austin, I believe that you and Chief Merkel have been the principal parties in pulling this resolution together. Would you like to discuss this, please?
Absolutely. As everyone may or may not be aware, our Guard unit, which is based here in the city of Vergennes, is they're actually shipping out tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. And so Chief Merkel, myself, and some other folks in the community thought that it would be very fitting and very appropriate for us to show our support for them, not only for the soldiers themselves, but their families. I think that you know, we could all agree they're doing a job that's very difficult and it involves a lot of sacrifice. And so I'm pleased to offer this resolution. Additionally, you know, I would just point out that tomorrow morning, the Guard unit will be leaving from the Armory. They'll be heading up Moncton Road to Main Street, making a right and traveling on Main Street over to the Park and Ride, which is where they will say goodbye to family members and everyone in the community. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing is Chief Merkel and BPD, along with the fire department and rescue, is going to be leading them over there. And we're hoping that as many folks as possible can come out to either line the route or be present there at the Park and Ride itself to wish them well as they depart. So I'll read the resolution for everyone's consideration. I know you have it in front of you, but I'll read it just to get it officially into the minutes. Resolution of support for the Vergennes Army National Guard Company B, 572nd Engineer Company on its deployment. Whereas Vermont Army National Guards Company B, 572nd Engineer Company, based in Vergennes, is being deployed for 1 year. Whereas the battalion was organized June 29th, 1921, and recently received Meritorious Unit Commendation for service in Afghanistan in 2010. Whereas the City of Vergennes is committed to support family members of deployed unit soldiers in cooperation with Vermont Army National Guard Family Assistance Office of the Deployed Soldiers. Whereas the City of Vergennes as a community recognizes and acknowledges the great personal sacrifices made by both soldiers and families while deployed. Whereas the Vergennes Police Department has affixed a large yellow bow to its flagpole, which will not be taken down until our soldiers return home a year from now. Whereas the City of Vergennes will display a large yellow ribbon in the lobby of City Hall, where it will remain as a demonstration of our support until the unit returns from its deployment. Whereas citizens are invited to display a yellow ribbon at their residence to demonstrate their support and best wishes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Vergennes City Council sends its appreciation and best wishes to the members of Vermont Army National Guards Company B, 572nd Engineer Company and looks forward to their safe return home. And I'll make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Second.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Dicky, for the second on that. Any discussion?
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
No further discussion. I would ask for a vote for the Virgin City Council to adopt the resolution of support for the Virgin's Army National Guard Company B 572nd Engineer Company on its deployment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Alderman Austin and Chief Merkel for working with the barracks commander to get this done. Yellow ribbons have started to pop up around town, and I believe that there is still limited supply available at Lulu downtown. So let's please do support our guardsmen and their families over the next year.
And
Thank you.
Matt, thanks
No,
to Hollyhock also.
Hollyhawks as well. Thank you, Ron. I'm sorry I omitted them.
and I'll look forward to seeing, hopefully seeing a lot of folks out tomorrow morning to see them off. 6:30 a.m.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Next item on the agenda is a request from Chris Reck regarding the Virgin's Farmers Market 2021 season. Chris?
Hello, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations and welcome to all the new city council members. Certainly has been a difficult year, and one that Sandy, who is co-manager with me of the Virgin's Farmers Market, sadly had to cancel last summer due to COVID. Things are looking, I think, a lot better for this summer, and so we're excited to announce that we want to be back this summer. And I officially am asking for permission to hold the market in the summer on Thursday afternoons, like we've done many previous years. And on the green, City Hall Park. And we're really excited about that. There's a few other details, one of which back when Matt was city manager, he came up with a great idea to close Park Street early Thursday so we could reserve that for vendor and customer parking. And we get about 100 cars or so every day. And parking can be difficult to find at that time. We'd like to continue to do that. We'd also like access to the bathrooms in City Hall, at least for the vendors. I'm not sure if COVID is going to allow us to allow customers in there, but and also Ron, there is some of our materials that are still stored in a back room in City Hall. So I just wanted to officially get permission for all of this and let everybody know.
That's great. Thank you very much, Chris. I would entertain a motion to have a discussion regarding returning the Virgin's Farmers Market to the City Green for the 2021 season.
So moved.
Thank you, Joe. I have
Second.
a second. Ian, Dicky, thank you. Any discussion, please?
I would just like to say I'm excited to see the farmer's market return.
Jill's one of our best customers.
Yes, I am.
Ron, can you call on Andy Kirkaldy, please? Andy, good afternoon. Good evening.
Just a quick question, please, Chris. What hours do you plan to operate?
It'll be 3 to 6 as we've done previously. And I certainly was going to reach out to you with a press release as soon as I got permission.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
So just to recap, Chris, your request is use of City Hall Park between 1:30 and 7 p.m. on Thursdays, the closing of Park Street early Thursday morning in the day to ensure vendors and customers have ease of access of parking, the use of the City Hall bathroom minimally for your vendors, and continued use of the storage area at City Hall. Is that everything?
That's correct.
Okay.
Those are the important things.
Any other discussion from the council? Is Jim Lero with us this evening?
Yes, he is.
Does Jim have anything he'd like to add?
No, nothing to add like we had spoke before, Matt. I was hoping that they could sort of move things around each week because of the pressure it put on lawn up there. I know that's probably not going to happen, but I did notice last year without the event happening that the park was in much better condition. So if people could not set up in the same place each week, it would be very helpful to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We can certainly do our best to accommodate that. Depending upon what the specific rules of operation are, recommendations by the state, which dictates how much space we have to provide. It does limit where things have to go, but I certainly don't see a problem with meeting your request. So no problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The other request that Jim is omitting, Chris, is to not use any stakes, any tent stakes on the green as well. So if you could accommodate us on both those, that would be appreciated.
That will be in our rules package for the vendors.
Thanks. Jim and prior to my taking the role, Mel have done a lot of work on the city green, particularly the grass to get it looking great and healthy. And we've done some Mel did some tree work up there as well. So anything we could do to minimize the trampling would be appreciated as well. Any further discussion from the council? I would ask then for a vote on the Virginia's Farmers Market request to return to the city green for the 2021 season. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Right?
All those opposed? Vote carries. Thank you very much. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yay, samosas.
You guys all come now.
Oh, I'll be there. You
We'll
know
be
that.
there.
Every Thursday, Chris.
Thank you.
All right.
That's great. Thank you all very much. So we have some housekeeping, this being the first city council meeting after the election. The first item of business regarding city council organization is the adoption of the city council meeting schedule for full year 22. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the draft, the calendar draft?
It looks like it's got the wrong year there, Matt, for some reason.
It does indeed.
And also the dates for the last two March dates, those are Mondays.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Mel.
So it looks to me like there'll be 2 meetings a month, except for the month of July. And is that the only one?
That looks it.
Okay.
So provided that these days line up, with our every other Tuesday schedule, and we correct the years, I would ask for a motion to approve the city council calendar. For full year 22. Do I have a motion?
So moved with the provision that the dates all line up.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Cheryl Brinkman, did you have a comment?
Yes.
Yes, I meant to do that before the motion was started, but can you tell me if you're still planning on starting the meetings at 5:30?
We have as a council have not obviously had a chance to discuss that. I know that it has been raised multiple times over the course of the last couple of years, Cheryl, and I will have that placed on the agenda for the next city council meeting for discussion. Okay. Okay. So we had a motion to adopt the calendar, correct? Did we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sue. Any discussion regarding the calendar other than what's already transpired? Okay, I would ask for a vote then, please, for the city council to adopt the city council meeting schedule for full year 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Election of a deputy mayor. I would ask for any nominations from our council in recommendation of the deputy mayor role.
I move to nominate Dickie Austin for deputy mayor.
Jill nominates Dickie. Do I have a second? If there is no second.
No,
to
Ian
the
raised his
motion-
hand. Did you capture Ian, Matt?
I second. I got muted somehow.
I'm sorry, Ian. Okay, thank you. Sorry, folks. Jill
Can we do a point of order that maybe you don't need a second for that, Matt? I'm sorry to jump in there.
No, I appreciate it, Cheryl.
A nomination doesn't usually require a second. That's what Peter.
Particularly under the Robert's rules for small organizations, seconds aren't required for nominations, I believe.
Okay, well, thank you both very much for that. I appreciate it. We will strike Ian's second from the record. And I would ask if there is any discussion regarding the appointment of Dickie Austin to deputy alderman. Sorry, folks, I lost. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
How's that for a cliffhanger, folks? Again, so I apologize. My internet went out. All those in favor of Dickie Austin as deputy mayor, please say aye.
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 Those
Aye.
opposed? All right, the vote carries. Dickie, congratulations.
Excuse
Thank
me,
you, guys.
Mr. Mayor, can I offer something, please?
Please, absolutely.
Number one, you're supposed to ask 3 times if there are any other nominations, to see if there are any other nominations. Secondly, has the charter changed? Because nowhere in the charter that I know says that it's a deputy mayor. It's called senior alderman. Point of order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I can certainly go back and call for any further nominations, as is probably appropriate, and then we'll have to retake the vote, I assume. Are there any further nominations for senior alderman, the deputy alderman position? And a third time, are there any further nominations for the deputy mayor position? Okay, thank you. There being no further nominations, I would once again call the vote. All those in favor of Dickie Austin, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes carry it. Thank you very much again, Dickie, and congratulations. To your other point, Mike Daniels speaking, I believe, and may be mistaken, that the council 2 or 3 years ago had voted to rename that position from senior alderman to deputy mayor.
Can they do that without a charter change legally? I'm not trying to push the point. I'm just
No,
trying to clarify things here, Matt. And
no,
congratulations.
I do appreciate it, Mike. I do know that former Deputy Mayor Donnelly was certainly, referred to as deputy mayor. I would have to dig into that a little bit. Mel, do you recall by any chance, it may have happened when Rennie was mayor, to the best of my recollection, but you've got a mind like a steel trap, so it may be better than mine.
Well,
No,
I don't know about that, but there was, before I got done as city manager and Rennie was the mayor, there was a resolution that was passed, which basically resolved that the senior alderman be referred to as the deputy mayor. But we probably should have amended the agenda right out of the gate that it should have said elect senior alderman, because Mike is correct. That is exactly the language in the charter. And now this motion reflects that Dickey is the senior alderman. And it's the resolution that was approved by the council that in essence allows Dickey to have a council endorsed title.
Okay, so the position is senior alderman referred to as deputy mayor.
That's correct, based on that resolution that was passed. It didn't,
Okay.
the charter didn't change. It's just that there is a resolution that the council passed so that the senior alderman, in essence, was within their rights to call themselves the deputy mayor with the approval set forth in that resolution.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for the clarification.
Thank you for bringing it up, Mike. I appreciate that. Item number 3, adoption of Robert's Rules of Order for executive boards and committees, which waives various formalities and calls for mayor to vote on all motions. Do I have a motion for the city council to adopt the Robert's Rules of Order for executive boards?
So moved.
Second.
David? Thank you. Any discussion regarding the adoption of Robert's Rules of Order? Ron, Mike Daniels' hand is up. I'm not sure if that's from before. It went down. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Thanks. Okay, then I would ask for a vote, please. All those in favor of adopting Robert's Rules of Order for executive boards and committees, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Moving on. Item 4, adoption of conflict of interest policy. Ron, is the policy in the packet? Thank you. I would ask for a motion for the city council to adopt the conflict of interest policy.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Dickey, thank you. Any discussion, please?
Yeah, Matt, I would like to suggest one, which hopefully will be viewed as a friendly amendment. The statute that's being referenced, there is no requirement that this be signed, and therefore I would suggest that the last sentence in Article 10 be removed and all of the signature lines be removed, and just simply at the bottom, instead of saying signed at a regular council meeting held on March whatever, it should just say adopted by city council, if this passes with that amendment passed by the city council at their meeting of March 9. This way, Brittany can use her time better well spent than chasing down all of us for signatures, and it's not required. So I would suggest that we remove that sentence and all of the signature lines.
Point well taken. Thank you. Alderman Hawley has a friendly amendment to the document. I would ask for a vote to accept that amendment, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Can I just,
Jill?
I just want to say, is there going to be some sort of vehicle for us all to acknowledge and accept the conflict of interest? Because I think it's an important vehicle for the council. Other than signing, I mean, we can all acknowledge that we understand it and are signing up to it, but in lieu of signatures, I just think it's an important document.
I think, Jill, that we still have to vote on that. We've
Okay.
accepted Mel's amendment, friendly amendment.
Great.
I am going to call for a vote.
I
Sure.
actually have a couple other questions about the document.
Go ahead. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you. So I'm fully in favor of having a conflict of interest policy, and actually I'm in favor of us signing it as well. But when I read through this, I got to Article 5, and Article 5 is a little awkward, and I noticed that it doesn't include the typical mention of a perceived conflict of interest, which I'm used to seeing in these sorts of documents. And then in Article 6, number 2, it talks about a proceeding, and I wasn't quite sure what that means. I went back to the definitions, and there's a definition for a quasi-judicial proceeding. So I didn't know if that was limited to the quasi-judicial proceedings, or if they're talking about the other actions, which are called official actions in the definition. So that seemed just a little odd to me. And then in Article 8, exception, it says recusal provision shall not apply if there's determined to be an emergency and that actions of the city council otherwise could not take place, which seemed a little vague to me. I'm assuming it means could not take place should some one of the members recuse themselves. I'm not quite sure what that means, but at any rate, I read through this all, and then I thought, I'm going to go look at a couple other policies. So I looked at a couple other cities, and then I looked at the VLTC model policy. And I guess my overall question is, this varies quite a bit from the model policy that's put out by the VLTC. And I don't know if this policy is based on an older version of that model policy, perhaps. But I am curious why we're not in line with the model policy. And there's actually a different procedure set out. So in that policy, a member would disclose a conflict of interest, and then there's time for consideration of that, where there's discussion and other members can ask questions. And then there's a determination made whether the member would recuse or state a reason why they feel they could still act, still act impartially. Whereas this policy that we're looking at here, the member is asked to disclose the conflict of interest and at the same time state, if they feel so, why they believe they could still act despite the conflict of interest, or have the option to recuse. So it's just a different procedure, and it doesn't allow for that conversation and discussion amongst the members before the member in question would either recuse or state that they didn't feel they needed to recuse. So those are just things that I noticed. And I guess like I said, my overall question, I guess, is why, I don't know how long this policy has been in place. Like I said, if it's based on an older version, perhaps, or maybe it should be updated.
Okay. Further discussion, please.
I think Sue raises a really good point about the perceived conflict of interest. Yeah. Good read, Sue.
Okay. Further discussion.
Would it make sense? I mean, assuming that the motion was withdrawn, to kick this to the next meeting, circulate the League of Cities and Towns document, so members of the City Council have the time to review it and have this vote at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe choose between the two and make alterations if need be.
So that sounds like a motion to table.
Agreed, Mel.
Or if,
I agree with Sue, Jill, and Dickie that this may be a dated document, and it would behoove the council to review the VLCT model versus ours, and come back better prepared, having done those comparisons offline. I would accept a motion to table the adoption of the conflict of interest policy until such time the council has a chance to review the two documents.
So moved.
Dickie, thank you.
Second.
Sue seconds. Any discussion on that? All those in favor of tabling the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all very much. Thank you, Sue. Item 5 under City Council organization, designation of newspaper of record. I know we have traditionally used the Addison Independent, and I would accept any nomination towards the designation of a newspaper of record, please.
I move that the Addison Independent be our newspaper of record.
Thank you, Mel. Any second, please?
Second.
Dickie, thank you very much. Any discussion regarding utilizing the Addison Independent as our newspaper of record? I would ask for a vote then. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We move on now to appointments. We have members of the Parks and Recreation Committee per the charge adopted on, per the charge adopted on February 23rd, 2021, that the Parks and Recreation Committee would consist of Kathy Rossier, Lynn Rappaport, Tim Cook, and as Mel indicated earlier, Cook is, there's no E at the end of Tim's last name, Lisa Casey, Michelle Eccles, Robin Newton, and Julian Sesner and Ben Hatch. And I think we're waiting on a representative from the school district as well. Is that correct, Ron?
It is not. I did talk with John from the district today, and what he indicated is that it's more appropriate because this is a Virgins matter, that Robin would be representative of the Virgins school system, actually Virgins Elementary, and that John's comment was that the district doesn't really have a stake in this, and that it's more appropriate that it be a member from a Virgins school. So we can list Robin as being from Virgins Elementary School.
So Matt, Robin Newton, has been our representative of some school. So Robin is not a resident of Virgins. So the new charge has 3 different categories, if you will. There's supposed to be 8 to 12, I think it is 8 to 12 Virgins residents, 1 representative of the Addison Northwest School District, and 1 designee of the City Council. So Robin is, the charge, maybe it could have been a little bit clearer, but I've talked to Kathy Rossier. It's my own personal opinion that I don't think that Kathy should be put in a position of naming the representative from the school district, nor naming the designee from the City Council. I think her job as chair is to submit the list of 8 to 12 names of Virgins residents for the City Council consideration. It does say in the charge that it's supposed to go through the city designee, and of course, Lowell was our city council designee, and he is no longer on the city council, so we run into a little bit of a snafu. If John Stroop is suggesting that that they do not want a representative named in our charge, then I suppose that we should remove that from our charge. And then, however we want to handle Robin, I can tell you Robin is a very valued member to the committee. And if we were to allow, non-residents, then we could appoint Robin to the committee. So I don't think that we realized that the school district was going to, I'll use the word objection, but I felt that we wanted to have a school district representative because of the proximity of the school and the relationship relative to the recreation facilities on East Street.
Thank you very much, Mel. That's great. So it sounds like we have, an order of business that needs to be addressed prior to accepting the nominees, as it were, which is to address the charge first. And I think we cannot likely do that at this meeting, and then be in a position to accept these nominations. Is there any further discussion, Kathy?
Good evening, everyone. And I put Robin's name down there because I was under the understanding that the Addison Northwest School District would choose their representative to the Virgins Recreation Committee. I just received an email from Matt DeBloy, who is the principal at Virgins Union Elementary. And it says, it's my understanding that the city council would like the school district to choose someone to represent them on the recreation committee. And he is requesting that Robin Newton, who has served on the committee since it's forever, whenever, complete that task and be the liaison behalf of the school and district. So I have this email from Matt DeBloy that just came today or whatever. And I'm just wondering if that is the piece that is missing.
Well, there's kind of two pieces missing, Kathy. One is that we don't have a representative on the council at this time. As Mel indicated and is correct, this is supposed to come through that representative.
Yeah, to bring the names forth.
Yeah, exactly right.
Understand. Yep. Understand.
So I think in light of this, and I appreciate you bringing Matt's correspondence and support of Robin, who I also support in that role, I would ask for a motion to table this until our next meeting, until we can get this dusted off. Jill, please go ahead.
Yeah, would it be helpful, Kathy, if I volunteered to be the representative for the council, and then maybe we can move forward?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It would be helpful that if Matt, if you could designate, or whatever happens, that a city council member could be designated tonight. I don't know if Lowell's still on, but I want to thank him so much for being our rep. Whoops. And actually Lynn Donnelly, since I've been on this committee, Lynn and Lowell have been the representatives, and we are forever grateful. So I know it's not on the agenda. I don't know if it's in violation of things, but if there's a way that a city council person could be appointed tonight, that would be beneficial.
So Matt, it's absolutely appropriate to amend an agenda in the middle of the meeting. It's okay. I mean, obviously something has come up, we need to amend it. So I want to move to amend the agenda to include the designation of the city council member to the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Second.
Thank you very much, Mel. Thank you, Dickie. Any discussion regarding Jill being the council representative? No discussion. All those in favor of Jill, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Good. Thank you, Mel, again, for your guidance on that. I appreciate it greatly.
Kathy, you're stuck with me.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. And Sue, congratulations. Matt, congratulations. Welcome back, Mel and Ian. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
So I really assume that really the school district would name their representative. And I think that we have some evidence here that the school district has named Robin Newton. And so that appointment, that representative is in place. So we're all set there. Jill has agreed to be the council designee. That's in place. And now we need to appoint, in essence, from or beyond the list that I think Jill just provided, which is supposed to have 8 to 12 names. And my math is that we might be a little short.
Kathy, any comment to that?
Yeah, well, what I brought forth. What I brought forth were the names of the present committee members that have expressed their interest in continuing. There was one committee member has chosen not to continue. So yes, this committee is looking for more members. And I'm just wondering if that's okay to bring newer members at a different meeting, but to vote on the members that had been brought forth to the council tonight.
I think it's okay to accept the names that have been brought forth, Kathy, but to Mel's point, the charge is pretty clear that it's 8 to 12 people. I understand that the pool, no pun intended, is only so deep in Vergennes, but I'm wondering if it might be possible for you to redouble your efforts and maybe perhaps Ron and Brittany through the city website or some other vehicle get the word out.
Can I suggest another member as we're discussing this? If it's
Sure.
okay with the member that I might be suggesting, I would offer Jeremy Holm, if he's cool with it.
Jeremy, you're indicating that you're good to go? Okay. So thank you, Jeremy. So as Jill is the representative, she is inclined and able to add Jeremy Holm to this roster, and that brings the count up to 8.
Is it 8 or 7?
There's actually 8 names on there.
Andy was flashing 8 earlier, so I think we're up to 9 now.
Don't count Robin as part of the 8.
Okay,
Kathy,
so
I'm
it's
also
8.
Kathy, I'm curious if Matthew Hawes should be I know he's not at this meeting, but he's been attending meetings for the past.
I know this is kind of like, oh wow, you guys.
And not that I'm against Jeremy. I would love to have Jeremy on.
I would too. We also have in our charge that this newly elected or approved charge is that if you're interested, you submit a letter. There is a protocol, but and it also is in the charge. It says at the recommendation of the chairman, it goes through to the council member to the council. So yeah, I would love Jeremy. I would love Matt's, but I'm not sure this is the right procedure.
Okay.
That's fair.
Sue?
Matt, would it be possible for someone to read the charge? I'm not having any luck finding it.
Ron or Brittany, do you have the Parks and Rec charge available?
Let me do some digging here.
Thanks.
Hang on.
Thank you, Sue. Just a minute, please.
If you go back to the last, Sue, if you go back to the last packet, the agenda packet for the February 23rd meeting, I believe that we just adopted this at that meeting. So that's one location to find it.
I'm there now. Hang on. I'm just trying to find the charge. Do you want me to read the entire charge?
Do you want to share screen maybe?
Sure, let's do that. That sounds groovy. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Could be bigger.
Could be bigger.
Maximize your screen, Mel.
Yeah, well, I actually I can't. Only Ron can. I wish I could hit his plus button. So if you just go down a ways, it's on the second page. Oh, actually, it's on the bottom of one page and on the top of the next one. Sorry. Don't go into the roles. Back up.
Right there.
Yeah,
Right there.
I see it there. Yep. 8 to 12 Virgin's residents. One from the city council and one from the school.
So one of the things that is a little confusing, it does say that the committee shall be composed of the following members appointed annually by the city council at the first regular meeting in March. And so it does kind of indicate that the city council is supposed to appoint the person that's the representative of the Addison Northwest School District. All right. And so we can include obviously we could have done this all in one motion, but I think we needed, Jill, you to come on board to be able to transmit this list. And so the question is do we have a list of, we do not have a list of 8 people. And I think what Kathy's point is that we have a protocol. I really would suggest for tonight that if we have a list that happens to only contain 6 people, then I'd suggest that we appoint those 6 with the anticipation that additional volunteers will come forward so that we could potentially get this committee up to a total of 14. And that way the committee can meet this week. I think they have a meeting scheduled for this week.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we appoint the people who are on the list, and there will be open seats that we can appoint at a later time.
Okay, so do we have a motion? So Mel, it sounds like there's 2 motions. Number 1, somebody from the council needs to nominate Robin Newton as the school district representative.
I think it can be all handled in one motion. I think if we've got the list, yep. I think I can probably make the motion. I'd like to move that the city council appoint the following: Kathy Rossier, Lynn Rappaport, Tim Cook, Lisa Casey, Michelle Eccles as residents of Virgin's on the committee, Robin Newton as the representative of.
Hold on, Mel. I'm sorry. I think Kathy had something.
Sorry. Julie.
There you go.
Julian Sessner and Ben Hatch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Robin Newton as the representative from the Addison Northwest School District. And officially, we're doing this a little redundancy, but Jill to continue as as the designee from the city council.
Do we have a second to Mel's motion as stated? Dickie, thank you very much. Yeah. Any further discussion?
So the only discussion I would have is
do we need one more resident?
Additional people can be put forth.
Hold on one second. Jill, go ahead, please.
I think if we need 8 residents, and it seems to me that we need one more resident. Is that accurate?
I believe what Mel had said previously was that we could adopt this as is with a vacancy.
Okay.
With an understanding that other members would be joining.
Okay.
In support of the current Recreation Committee schedule, which they have a meeting scheduled this week. So, Sue, please.
Just if you're correcting misspellings, Rappaport is also misspelled.
Thank you. Dickie seconded Mel's motion. Jill, I'm sorry, did you have something else?
Well, I didn't, but now I do. Kathy, can you just, my email is on the city website. Can you just shoot me an email so I have yours and I can send you a letter requesting from Jeremy requesting to join the rec committee?
Sure. And
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for volunteering, Jill.
Sure. Thank you.
I would ask for a vote, please, to support Alderman Hawley's motion as stated.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much for that. I appreciate your help getting through that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Next appointment, delinquent tax collector. Traditionally, the city manager serves as in the role of delinquent tax collector. Do we have a motion? A motion for an appointment for the delinquent tax collector position?
I move that Ron Redmond be appointed the delinquent tax collector.
Thank you, Mel. Second. Dickie seconds. Thank you very much. Any discussion? And Ron, you're not allowed to say anything through the next several appointments. They come with the desk.
Actually, Matt, what we did with Ron is we actually embedded the delinquent tax collector and the tree warden in his employment contract. So he'll keep quiet.
That's smart. Very good. You guys learned. That's great. Any discussion regarding Ron being appointed delinquent tax collector? I'll ask for a vote then. All in favor of Ron, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Ron. Next item of appointment is, I've been there, so I can say that. The next item is number 3, which is tree warden. Again, it sounds like he's already accepted the role, but I would ask for a motion for Ron to be appointed as the tree warden.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dickie and Sue. Any discussion?
I said it sounds like he's going to be putting trees in a dog pound, but that's good.
All those in favor as Ron as our tree warden, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you all very much.
Sorry, I had to.
Item number 4, service officer. There was some discussion with Ron and I earlier today about the service officer position, and I think Mel may have hopped into an email conversation as well. Could someone just discuss the role of service officer for everyone's edification, please?
Sure. So I'll just give a little history. There was a statute on the books. I think it's in the health statute, Title 23, Section 2104 or 2204, relative to the position of town service officer and what that role was, which was historically they, in essence, had authority once the Department of Human Services offices were closed. Now that statute has been repealed, but Title 24, Section 871 states that the city, a municipality, still may appoint a town service officer. And so in one regard, one might feel that we do not need to appoint a town service officer. However, having said that, there is a very old policy that was adopted by the city council, probably back in the in the 90s, whereby the Donnelly Fund, no connection to Lynn Donnelly, but it's a fund that is to be used for the worthy poor. The city council adopted a policy whereby the town service officer could allocate up to $500 a year from the Donnelly Fund. And so that role, consistent with that policy, still exists. And I can tell you that has historically been held by the city clerk, Joan Devine. And you know, I'm putting Brittany on the spot a little bit here, but you know, right now that's how allocations can occur from that Donnelly Fund. And so for those allocations of less than $500, it does not involve the city council. That authority has been yielded to the city clerk. So,
Okay.
if with that understanding, if Brittany is willing to accept that, I would move that Brittany Obie be our service officer, be appointed as our service officer.
Do we have a second? Dickie?
Second.
We should probably unmute Brittany, but is there any discussion? Brittany, is this something that you're willing to take on for the city?
Oh yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So all those in favor of Brittany becoming or taking the role of service officer, please say aye.
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 Any in opposition, please say nay. The ayes carry it. Brittany, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Item 5, designation of Bixby Memorial Free Library Trustee. Is there anybody on from the Bixby today?
Catherine is here. Catherine Hayes is here.
And I am as well.
And Laura, thank
And
you both
Laura.
very much. Welcome, both of you. Who is the designation? Who do you recommend as the designation of the Bixby Memorial Free Library Trustee?
As the director and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, we recommend Laura Mack, who served in this capacity over the last year and would like her to continue.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to appoint Laura Mack as the designee of the Bixby Memorial Free Library Trustee?
So moved.
Vicki?
Second.
Ian, thank you very much. Any discussion regarding Laura in that role?
Yeah, Matt, I just want to let everyone understand why we're dealing with this. And the Bixby Library has a self-perpetuating board of trustees. However, when the Bixby Library was deeded to the city back in 1971, there is a paragraph in the deed that makes reference to the city council's authority. Actually, the way that it works is that the Bixby Library Board of Trustees is required to appoint a person to the board as designated by the city council. So it's just that that's why it says designated. We do not appoint somebody to their board. We designate somebody and from the community, and then they in turn officially appoint that person to the board.
Great. Again, thank you very much, Mel. Thank you. Any further discussion regarding Laura in that role? Okay, I would ask for a vote,
I mean,
please.
just to clarify, because I know we did have this conversation. So Mel, is your understanding that, did we go about this the right way? Or I know that traditionally, my understanding is that the board came forth, the Board of Trustees from the Bixby came forth saying, here's who we suggest that you designate. Is that kind of all our understanding to kind of update it to today?
I think what would be best, and Brittany can do this for you, is to get a copy of the actual deed so you have the language in front of you. And
I do have that. Yeah.
Okay. So as to the process of how that is done, I don't know that there's any other document off to the side. It just simply says what it says. So, and I think that historically the city has worked with the Board of Trust, City Council has worked with the board to make sure that we have somebody that's going to attend meetings, and it's not as though they're there to represent the city, but they are there to, because the city does own the building by deed, even though management of the library is by the Board of Trustees. So it's in that regard, it's part of the partnership.
Thank you. Catherine, does that answer your question?
I just to clarify, so I think it was more like, who initiates? So are we good with the Bixby initiating, which is what we've done this time when we saw this on the agenda, which is wonderful, or and that's again how it's traditionally happened, having read it, or is this something that that Virgins wants to recommend to us that we consider. And so that's what I'm just trying to clarify. And we can, again, take it offline and consider it a next meeting. I don't think it's the most important thing on this agenda tonight, but, and I think we're all in agreement, but just wanted to kind of clarify as we go forward.
No, I feel, and Mel will correct me, based on his comments, we are able to move forward on the council accepting Laura as the designee.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of Laura Mack as the designee of the Bixby Memorial Free Library trustee, please say aye.
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 As long as it comes with ice cream.
Laura, did you get that? 2 thumbs up, Laura. Let's see. She's not making any promises, Jill.
I'm in rare form tonight. Ignore me.
That's okay. All those in favor, yeah, no nays. That Laura, congratulations to your appointment. Designation, rather.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Item number 6, representative and alternative representative to the Addison County Solid Waste District Board of Supervisors. Cheryl Brinkman, you're with us this evening. Ron, if we could unmute Cheryl, please.
I'm unmuted.
There she is. Thank you very much,
Hi.
Cheryl. Good evening.
Yes, I've been doing this for quite a while. And I'm willing to continue because it's a relatively steep learning curve, as Mel can attest to. And currently I'm serving as chair of that board of supervisors. My tenure, I guess, as chair will be up this year, but it tends to go back and forth between a couple of different people.